Well, hello and welcome to Producer Dan. I'm Dan. Welcome to my channel. So today's video is video number 3 of a 3-part video series, the writing, recording, and producing of a song that I wrote called The Soul of October. So today I'll take you into Pro Tools and go through some of my editing techniques and my workflow, and at the end of the video I'll play you the final realized version of the song. I'm very happy with how it came out. I'm very surprised and pleased. It's amazing how you start writing a song and you really don't have an idea of where it's going to end up, or you might have an idea and it ends up in a totally different place. And this was one of those songs. For me, it started out kind of when I sat down in my living room. Firstly, it was written in 4/4 time, and that changed to 3/4 time. And secondly, it was in my mind going to be kind of a folky song, heavy acoustic guitar and not that much instrumentation. The realized version is kind of, I don't know, it gives me a little bit of Bonnie Raitt. That's all I can think of. That's the feel the song ended up having, and I'm very, very happy with it. So I'll take you into Pro Tools now, and let's get started with some production work. Again, my intention for these videos will be the kind of the songwriting process and seeing the song to the finished end. It's just me, so I'm recording my own stuff, and as I go, I will kind of submix everything, and I'm also EQing and doing some compression as I go as well. And so this will be more of a fine tune of what I've already done. And if we look here in Pro Tools, I have a very simple process. My bass, since it begins with the letter B, I make them blue. My guitars are green because it begins with the letter G. And I have a light green color for my acoustic and a dark green color for my electrics. My vocals are always in violet because it begins with the letter V. My buses, obviously school bus yellow. The brown colors, that's drums and my electric piano, or my piano sound that I'm using for this particular song. And those are MIDI instruments. That's a basic setup. This is a small song. There's not a lot of instruments in it. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is show you some editing and also tune some of the vocals just a little bit. I think it's important to keep the vocal as human as possible. Hang on just a moment. Okay, so here we are in the Pro Tools session. I also have this little thing up here, which is really important to set this up. This will take me to certain parts of the song, like verse, chorus, second intro, verse, chorus. You just tap that and it'll take you immediately to that part of the song, which is, you know, if you're into workflow, that's amazing. These are my vocals. I have noticed something I need to fix in the lead vocal, and this will be a nice example of corrective editing. Oh, I live and I thrive, it feels good. You hear that? When I say it feels, they don't match. I say it differently in the lead, and I'm going to make it match. Since I say this twice in the song, I'm going to steal the it feels from the later part of the song and paste it here, and I'll show you how we can make those match. Oh, I live and I thrive, it feels good. You hear the it feels here. We're taking this, we're going to copy this. I'm going back to the beginning. Oh, I live and I thrive, it feels. I'm going to paste it right here. And it's basically seamless. And you can really get in here and just make sure that the waveforms aren't too jarred or too different. Make sure they line up. See how I've done that? So it kind of seamlessly goes from one to the other. It's good to go. Okay, so that's good, but we still need to add our fades. So just so you don't hear any clicks and pops because of the line we put here, I'm going to put a nice little fade right here, which will take those two clips and marry them together nicely. So, oh, I live and I thrive. It feels good to go outside. Okay, so let's get back to our backup vocal. What I want to do here is just make sure the backup vocal is in time. Here we are again. Open window. So those aren't matching, but I have to decide which one I like best. Let's hear it in context. In my car and open windows to the star. I can't decide. I need to take a minute. I'm going to match it to the lead vocal. So we're going to move this open, this little open here. We're going to move that closer. They don't have to match perfectly, but ballpark would be nice. But let's listen, see if this is any better. Car and open windows to the star. I'm going to keep that. I like that little pause. We'll consolidate the clips, which will blend what we've just done and make it one solid clip. So if we move the clip again, things don't get separated. It's all solid now. So here's my backup vocal. I'm going to use Melodyne just to slide some of the notes into where they should be, just the important ones. Okay, so once you run it through Melodyne, you get something that looks like this. And these are little blobs of orange notes that you can manipulate and move. Now, one thing I want to say is the style of this song would not necessarily mean that you have to sing exactly in tune. As a matter of fact, that whole guitar thing and free at the end, it has kind of like a Bob Dylan-ness. And I think the way I sang it was a little deliberate, just to kind of slide around and be free with it. And actually, when I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing a lot that's off, but let's listen. Me, George, October sky, October sky, oh, October skies. That's a little better. These lines represent what you've done, and these blobs give you something to work with. But when you edit this, you have to try and leave these little inflections in. If someone has auto-tuned the whole vocal, it would pull all those little things down to where they all met on one line, which gives you that kind of share, kind of laser, and that's not really what you want. So you can use it that way and it's a nice effect, but that's not what we're doing here. So, like, for example, see how I reach and then it comes back down? You could fix. Here we are. I'll play that for you. I'm not keeping it, but I'll play it for you. You hear that? Or you could do it subtly if it were really off. If I reach way up high, you can do it subtly. Long sleeves and coffee. Long sleeve. I like that better. I pulled it down just a little bit. I'm going to raise that just a little bit. Not much. Did you hear that? Here's before. I'm just going to raise it just a little. That's better. Because it sounded a little tired. No, it didn't sound like I was intentionally doing that. It sounded like I was getting tired. Next. Makes me feel. Okay, I've got a little quiver here in my voice. Feel brand new. I'm going to see if I can take that out. Makes me feel brand new. That's better. Me feel feel brand new. That's better. Okay, not too much, little subtle. Long drives in my... Okay, and drives is a little sharp. Long drives in... Long drives in my car and open windows. Oh, open windows to the stars. There, okay. So I'm happy with that and what I've done. I've just done some subtle changes. Since we're doing Melodyne, let's go ahead and do the lead vocal as well. Okay. So we've rendered we put the vocal in Melodyne, and here we are at the beginning, and let's just kind of go through and see what needs to be fixed. The sun pulls her warmth. So pulls is a little high. Let's listen to that again. The sun pulls her warmth away. I just want to take that down just a little bit. Sun pulls her warmth away. And take out a little bit of that. Take out a little bit of the pitch modulation. Smooth it out just a little bit. The sun pulls her warmth away. Okay, gonna move on. It masquerades. Maybe smooth this out just a little. Better. It brings it. Maybe that it is a little sharp. It brings the on. Okay, and maybe this area here. Listen. It brings the unknown, and here's where I may not want to screw this up. I'll see if I can make it sound natural. If not, we'll move on. But see, this one's a little high and this is a little low, but they should be the same note. It brings the unknown, and so just a tiny bit. Bring that one up a bit. Let's see if that's better. It brings the unknown, and that's better. And I didn't go hog wild. I just moving on. I feel like walking a while. Look at this. That's, I was in my lower register and I don't have a lot of control there, obviously. Let's see. I might leave it just for, that's the human element that I was talking about, but wow, this is what's making it sound bad, is this little, at the very end, it goes up. Hear that? So this may be the improvement we need here, just a little. And it gets a little rough. So I've corrected the pitch, but we still have all this shakiness. So pitch modulation, can smooth that out. See how the lines kind of smooth? It'll be less noticeable. I don't want to take it all the way out. This little area here is. I can live with that. Let's hear it in context. Feel like walking a while. Better, right? Hey, darken. And this has always bothered me. Here's a perfect example of just fixing something that's gonna stick out and it's not necessarily part of the human experience. So I still want it to have that little sharpness because that's what I would do normally, but I don't want it to be that sharp. So, in context. Hey,
soul of October.
So I'm happy with everything we did there. I might as well just show you the bass distortion track. This adds a little texture to the top, so if you're playing it through the smaller speakers and you don't get the low end, you can still, the bass is still audible because it has some texture. Hear that? I know that sounds extreme when I turn it up, but like here it is without it. We just want a little bit. I think that sounds good. Let's play it in context. All right, so where to next? I guess I'll show you the piano sound, and then we'll render this piano sound. Whoops, I just lost my light. Change the battery. Be right back. Okay, we're back. So I was going to show you the piano part that I chose for this song. So there it is, and it acts as a kind of background, very in the background, but it also adds a lot of bounce. It has a delay, so I'm really happy with that. And let's see, is there anything I want to say about the drums? Let's see. It's a MIDI file, or it's Easy Drummer, and this is what it looks like. So this is the volume of everything down here. You can change the volume and the velocity of all of this stuff, but I have it really low in the beginning. But when it comes in here, we change the volume a little bit, and I also changed the snare sound, so it's no longer ticking, it's actually hitting the snare. Let's listen. It differentiates the first verse from the second verse, or the first intro from the second intro. So just elevates a little bit, change the snare sound from a tick to a soft hit. And I have to point out, I love the sound of this cymbal. Especially how soft it is, and it just the volume jumps just a little bit more. And it's not just volume, it's velocity. It's how hard the instrument was hit. And then it really gets going in the, I call them the bridges, the first bridge and the second bridge, but it really is the end of the song. It never goes back to the choruses again. But these are basically bridges, but we never go back to they're bridge to nowhere. And I've also changed the sound of the hi-hat. Listen. It's open. It's slightly open. It's a ch. It's not a tick, 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 tick. It's a sh, which is a sound that I love as well. I love an open hi-hat. And I also love a rim shot. I don't think they used enough. Let's see. The snare. So I've just, they're hitting the rim of the snare, and it just adds a, I don't know. They always do it in the circus when someone's doing a flip. So I think it adds a lot of energy. So I think that's all I'm going to say about the drums. I'm happy with everything there. I'm not going to change anything, so I'll render this down into an actual audio track. And let's move on to the next thing. The electric guitars. All right, here's a good example of conforming a sound so it sounds good in the mix. Evidently, I wasn't very happy with the sound that I had originally recorded with this guitar because I've really boosted up the 1K because I thought it was missing. So when I played it in mono, I'm like, I don't hear that guitar. Where is it? This was the only way for me to get it to come through. So I don't want any of the harshness up here. Actually, 500 is normally a kind of a boxy sound. It sounds terrible by itself, but when you put it in the mix, it stands out, and I'll show you now. And this is what it sounds like in the mix. So it's there, and it's, but it's also letting the twinkly parts do their thing, and it's staying in its own little area. So that was intentional, and I don't normally do crazy EQ curves like that, but I trusted my ears in this situation and went with it. And then the picking. You can hear the difference in the frequencies there. Yeah, I wanted that guitar to be pretty. I wanted it to be kind of a melodic in the background. Gain staging is done. I mean everything, I'm happy with the general level, but I'm going to start with the lead vocal, maybe do some automation. We always want to go with our the loudest part of the song. Before I do that, I want to put a compressor on the mix bus just to catch any peaks. I guess a quick attack and a quick release. All right, I'm leaving that. I'm going with it. Okay, so we're going to start with the loudest part of the song and just make sure that the vocal's in check. Bringing up any parts that you can't hear and bringing down some parts that are too loud. Okay, here's something we can turn up just a little bit. George Winston piano. Let's see if that makes a difference.
George Winston piano.
Okay.
In my car and open windows to the star.
Turn this up just a little bit.
Open windows to the star.
Yep. Okay. Maybe this might need to be turned down. Here we are.
Oh, I live and I thrive.
Do you know, I'm going to try and see if that makes any difference sonically.
Oh, I live and I thrive.
All right, I like that. See, the changes we've made are now affecting the fader for the vocal. So you'll see that go up and down, but I'm just going to try and find just make sure one more time that backup vocal is where I want it to be. I'm going to listen one more time.
Oh, I live and I thrive. It feels good to go outside. Long sleeves and coffee. October skies above me. George Winston piano. He makes me feel brand new.
All right, I'm happy with that, and I don't see any jumping around, so I'll be going through and just doing some more fine tuning, and then once I have a mixed track, we'll put it into Isotope 7 and do a final mastering, and then we'll give the song a listen.
Shorter days, the sun pulls her warmth away, her touch is colder, and I'm 1 year older. Change, love and survive and be brave. Hey, dark is the soul of October. It journey. I take a deep breath of October's fury. I feel like walking a while. Hey, dark is the soul of October. It masquerades and falls in the shadows. It brings the unknown and changes the past that we take. Oh, I live and I thrive. It feels good to go outside. Long sleeves and coffee, October skies above me. George Winston piano, he makes me feel brand new. Long drives in my car and open windows to the stars. Oh, I live and I thrive. It feels good to go outside. Long sleeves and coffee, October skies above me. George Winston piano, it makes me feel brand new. Long drives in my car and open windows to the stars.
And so there it is, the final version of the song. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the video series, and I do hope that you'll watch my next videos. I do plan on putting out more of this type of content. If you like the content, of course, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.